This is where it's also a bit funky, because we still tend to see Dooms go for Vanguard into Midas, but I've seen a little bit of a deviation. I've seen some Dooms go... I've seen one Doom in Southeast Asia go for Octarine Blink, and it actually worked out. So almost similar to what JT did on the Batrider in the last game.
I feel like there's just a ton of players opting to go for Octarine on any position. Like even on 4, I'm seeing it very often. Like the item has been changed quite a bit, obviously. Like the recipe is different. Like it's been buffed up a little bit too. So yeah, I can see it on a Doom. Also, just having that Devour 24/7 doesn't feel that bad.
Yeah. Oh. Contesting perhaps a little bit here.
JT, they see him. I feel like it was more about him scouting if they see him or not, the way he was moving. Like he's just moving and testing the way they're gonna react to him. If maybe someone right-clicks him on the high ground or moves in a way that gives them info that there's a ward there. But very interesting 2 wards from Radiant, by the way. You see this?
Yeah, just very focused on that mid area. So trying to give XM as much as they can. We'll see if that ward will pay off down the line. Taking a look at that mid matchup as well. XM on that Pango, Paparazzi on that Storm. You mentioned a little bit here, but you did say this is a lane that should go a lot better for Paparazzi this time around.
Yep. Like the last lane was really difficult, and they really focused on making it difficult for Paparazzi. This time around, it should be much, much easier.
I'm keen to see if Xtreme can also kind of add rune control on top of that. I feel like that's one thing as well that kind of slipped towards Piggy Killer there. And in this matchup, it does feel pretty big for either side to have that. So taking a little bit of a gander down bot. Fly on the Sven, Mercy on that CM up against JT on his signature Magnus. And Kaka once again in the line. And they connect onto Mercy. The slow is not enough. The stun from Fly isn't enough to stop that right click from Kaka as well. The magic damage early on from this duo is significant.
It's not just the magic damage, it's the right clicks. Like you're playing versus Magnus and Lion. They will take you down just by right clicking you if you're not careful.
Oh, Skewer back now as well. Blood Grenade to kind of slow it down. They've got the Hex level on Kaka, but the War Cry is enough for Fly to sustain, and he finds some punishment now, as JT's also in a bit of a rough spot.
Yeah, he's got the wand, so he should be able to live. By the way, have you seen the Harpoon Magnus?
Yes.
Yeah?
I have.
Do you like it?
I think it's not as memey as it is. I actually think it's pretty good, as they are making moves top, and they do find DY. So Frisk can be dragging that up for himself. We talked about that power of this off lane here as well for Ava and Frisk up against Ghost and up against DY. It doesn't feel like the simplest lane for the Alchemist Alchemist Ench, but it is certainly playable to an extent. You don't have anything like the Blightstone start to double down on minus armor though. Again, Ava's tanky enough that he's probably not too concerned. Doesn't even bother with the Devour, just looking to just clear out the waves as fast as possible with a Scorched Earth and make it awkward to trade.
Yeah, I like this. Because if you go Scorched Earth and Infernal Blade with Kotl, you actually have a ton of kill potential. So it does make sense to do that versus the Alchemist. Try to pressure him early on. You're not going to pressure him once he gets a couple of levels and starts jungling anyway. So doing that early on has at least slow him down a little bit.
Just try to hinder Ghost from hitting some timings, and we're already seeing a very different laning start from Piggy Killer. No, it's not as much of a stomp as it was in the last game. It does feel consistent across each lane, except this time around for XM's lane. That is definitely a lot slower here for our Pangolier. There is a bit of a Uno reverse card from the last game early on, as they're getting a bit of a chase up top, but not really able to pin down Ava.
Yeah, it's also because his hero was shown, right, much earlier this time around. The last game, Omni Knight was almost, if not the last pick. It was the last pick, and this game, Pango is picked much earlier, so Storm. I believe it was right? Like the Storm was picked into the Pango because it's an obvious answer. So because of that, he's also doubling the net worth, doubling the CS at least of XM.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for Paparazzi to play his game. No real emphasis on rotations for power runes just yet. Maybe by its 6-minute mark, we'll see that come true. So far, everyone just focused on maximizing the lanes to get the stun out onto Mercy. Skewer back though onto Fly. Does have the war cry, but still a lot of damage coming out. Not going to be able to find a follow-up. But they apply that pressure. Nice double stun. JT, Shockwave still level 1. And no skewer back play anytime soon, but they are applying pressure as much as they are applying pressure top as well as Ghost. Acid Spray plus the Unstable. Getting some good damage off onto Ava with a lightning creep here as well. And they find that kill.
Yeah, armor doesn't matter when you have DY hitting you with impetus. It's also level 3 Enchantress. Once you get that level 2 enchant, every lane becomes easier because you can have a creep for a longer time, right? Up to level 2 enchant, you can't have every creep because of the level requirements. Plus, you can't have them for a long time, so it doesn't even feel that good. It's even better used just to slow a target down. But with the level 3, the lanes become simple.
Yeah, and we're seeing that already. Ghost kind of bouncing back in, finding some rune to farm up. CS is up on the charts now as well. So our Alchemist on a pretty good path to bounce back in after a little bit of a rough tumble back and forth. An even gaming start now for both sides. 2-2, 1K lead standing for Xtreme. There are some good stacks built up here by Piggy Killer, but it is scouted out by DY.
Yeah, he
might be able to contest.
He was just sending the golem to actually mess with Kotl overall with his next stacks, prevented him from stacking. Pango.
Kaka?
Yeah.
Does get the Hex off, but blinding light backwards. Frisk will take that one for the team. And they still managed to secure the power in for Paparazzi. The Invis, maybe not the best.
Top lane, he's rotating.
Instantly TP. Ava's alone, they notice. Acid Spray plus Unstable, they've got the hold. Minus armor stacking up. And Ghost finds himself another window supports to rotate.
Yeah, nice quick rotation by Paparazzi. And he's going to get his bottle refilled because Kaka died mid. Kaka, you know, he planned all of this. He died on purpose so that he can refill on top. All makes sense. Then again, Piggy Killer kind of copy-pasting the same thing they did in the last game, right? Like minute 6, runes come in. XM is completely secured on that mid lane. You see 2 supports rotating in even.
It is a bit of a repeat. They snipe a courier, but the Vanguard already flies out from Ava. So not too painful right by the secret shop. EY does manage to snag away 1 wisdom, and JT will grab their own. So these wisdom runes, man, if you don't get control, it feels pretty awful to lose out on that much EXP.
It's terrible.
Across your supports.
Yeah, it's just terrible. It's like suddenly both supports need a lane to come back with. And the worst thing is, I feel like the cores, at least in most pubs, haven't really adjusted to the idea of wisdom runes and how much it matters if you miss them. So they're still playing the lanes very late on. And if you're a support taking a lane, you're like, what the hell are you doing here? Just buy a tome, you know? Why are you in my lane?
Buy a tome.
Yeah, just buy a tome.
If only.
Yeah.
If only. Now you have to work for that EXP. You have to walk the distance, you know? Got a journey.
I'm a boomer, man. I forget about all these minutes. Like,
no, that's fair. Dota is a very, very complex game with a lot of things on a timer. It does feel like you have to use that new Steam feature for the note. As they do take note mid of Kaka. Not able to clean up that spell. Now the counter comes in from XG. Finding that play on the Mercy, stopping XM from instantly rolling, although he will still get it off. Finds the 1 stun onto Kaka, but no more.
He doesn't get a storm here, yeah. There's no way. I feel like he might have gotten the lion if he committed on him, but then he'd be very deep afterwards. Not sure. It was still difficult. He didn't really have a lot of things to bounce off of. So maybe if he rolled instantly when lion was a bit deeper, when Kaka was actually deep, then he could have gotten him. But he waited to see what Storm is going to do. Maybe disable him instead. And in the end, they get no kills and they lose one of their own heroes.
You're pretty happy about that on Xtreme. You're getting a lot of room out as well on your side lanes once more. Ghost is not being stopped solo. Neuralika is starting to steadily build that lead. Let's get the unstable not in the assets first, so not as much poke damage coming through. Still a rotation up top though. Piggy Killer wants something to happen on Ghost, but can't quite rotate behind that tower. XM does show himself in the creep wave. And line up for that push as the same thing goes for XG down bot. Shoving in that bot tier 1. And the side lane tier 1s feel a lot bigger than the mid right now, so you don't mind as much.
Yeah, just copy-paste movements from both of these teams, right? Like on top lane, you're taking tier 1 on the bottom. The other, maybe a little bit less of a commitment coming from Xtreme Gaming, as Magnus on his own is able to take this down. Just a ton of damage being dealt out by Empower. Meanwhile, you kind of need the mid laner, the duo man, the CM to be as quick. It kind of matters. Like in Dota, you might think of these things like, yeah, whatever, they took it 5 seconds earlier than us, who cares? No, it matters quite a bit, because it's 5 seconds that you can perhaps rotate mid and set up something there. Or an RP bottom on Fly.
Oh, get that control. Get punishment off onto that Sven. A bit of a rockier start for Fly, but he does have the Mask of Madness, and he does have stacks to fall back on with the maxed out cleave, so be able to get that recovery farm flowing. But nice pick off there is even Mercy gets found out up top. Was clearing out some freebies for himself. Radiant's not too far off now as well for the Elk. So it is the pace of the game. 3K lead up for XG. For Piggy Killer, is it cause for concern at this point? Do you feel like maybe you haven't done enough to stop Ghost this time around?
You have to be only careful when it comes to those stacks. I feel like that's the most important thing. And Swan, with the God Strength, should be going there right now. Yeah. Because, okay, you cannot slow down the Alchemist. The best that you can do is make sure that your Swan is keeping up, getting enough farm. Because he's also one of those heroes that really needs to flash farm. He cannot be fighting at the moment. They're kind of very similar in a way, but Alchemist just gets his... well, what's the difference? Sven has perhaps a little bit of a higher late game potential, meanwhile Alchemist just gets to his items a tiny bit faster. So, but very similar type of heroes when it comes to the way they play early to mid game.
Just kind of sit back, build up what you can, and just kind of clear these stacks. Be efficient on that jungle. Slower start for both sides, kind of concentrating on that aspect though. We are getting just the time to cool down. A bit of a clump up mid. XM has managed to get the swash. Going for the roll. With that bind up on DY. Should be able to find it, but a lot of heals coming out. And TP's coming through. XM not going to fully commit. Zip forward from Paparazzi. Looking for the one, but the blinding light drags him far away enough. JT gets forward, gets the RP onto XM. He doesn't have an escape plan. It's taken out.
I think for them to make that move successfully on Piggy Killer, they need a diffusal on Pango, and then you can even do it without rolling. Just use Chakra Magic Diffusal twice the Enchantress. She's dead. She doesn't have Nature's Attendance. She doesn't have Untouchable even. Like, this hero is very killable. This is ultra aggressive kind of a playstyle. I love it. This is literally how I skill my Ench every single game, no matter what. But but it also does make you vulnerable. So yeah, just need that diffusal. I feel like on Pango, and this is the talk. We're circling it all back into timings, right? Like Pangolier having a bit worse of a game, XM much worse of a game this time around. That is. Suddenly the diffusal comes later, suddenly you can't make as many plays, even though you'd like to. You'd like to be as active as in that game one.
Yeah, it's just not coming out just yet. It's going to have to be patient here as a little bit of a smoke move around from the side of Xtreme. Not finding anything quite yet, but this could be juicy. Fly does commit for that camp. Zip forward from Paparazzi. The chain stunts are there, and the damage is true. They're starting to clear out. They will find Kaka in exchange. DY set to fall as well. They find a support trades. Mercy's not safe from this Acorn though. He's Interesting. Yeah, that slow was just enough. Okay.
Yeah, okay. He survives. They do take down the 2 supports, but they do lose the Sven. And that's massive. I feel like Sven really doesn't want to be dying. I mean, no one likes to die, but Sven is one of those heroes that you need to keep the pace. You need to keep on farming as fast as, or even faster than the enemy cores. And right now he is, falling behind the Alchemist. Not surprising. Like, versus the Alchemist, any hero falls behind, but what do you need? You need the Neko Saber on Sven, you need the Blink, you need the BKB, right? That's pretty much the next 2-3 items. Meanwhile, if you're an Alchemist, you already have the Blink, and you're just waiting for the BKB.
Yeah, they will be able to clean out DY now as well, while all of that goes on. I do agree. I think all the items you list out for Fly, it feels like it's just going to take a little bit too long in comparison to the timings of Ghost. Right? It just the quicker timings on the Alk feel tougher to play into in this specific matchup. So there's a very big window for Xtreme to just kind of dictate this game. They're almost at that point where the Harpoon's coming out for JT now as well. Just a lot of utility with the pullback and the skewer back if you manage to make that connection. Very, very silly combination, but it does work. Yeah, I really don't fault it.
It's a fun one. I've had a Magnus do that to me a couple of times already.
Did you have fun getting harpooned though?
I love getting harpooned. It's my favorite activity.
Oh, sucker for punishment, Lizard.
Exactly.
That's going to be painful. Paparazzi, this could be painful as well, but they don't have that jump up to really catch him down.
They might jump fly, yeah. If, let's see, because you got to read this. You have a finger though, so you might be tempted. There's a finger and the blink on Lion. Let's see. It's gonna be Mercy instead.
Yeah, get the finger stack up for Kaka. No problems there. Second charge up for Kaka for a little bit more damage. Not the biggest kill for a Piggy Killer to lose out on. So you're also not hurting too badly. But again, it kind of adds up over time. I mean, that's more EXP going your way for sure. On the side of Xtreme, so they get that push going. The Harpoon is fully up for JT now. It does show it standing in a map, but now you've got the blink up for Ava. This feels like this is a launching point now for the Doom. Now you've got a way to pin down Paparazzi or to perhaps stop the RP before it comes in.
Do you think that they're strong enough? Options. Like, with the blink on him? They are smoking up, so they do believe that they're strong enough.
On a bit of a hunt. We'll have to direct right to find it, but this could be a juicy one if they find Ghost. Smoke on smoke. Opposite side for XG.
If they could only see the creeps moving in. Yeah, they did. Okay, they scouted the creeps, but they don't want to go there. Interesting. Now they ping it out.
They reveal XM down mid. Like, he just clears out the wave.
Yeah.
So it's a chance for Ghost to just pull back, and they don't find anything. Sure, XG also wastes time down bot, but it does feel like it's bigger for Piggy Killer, right? Like, this is their blink reveal on Ava. They want this to line up.
Yep. Maybe they didn't see the creep. It's nighttime. I felt like it was in the range, but maybe they just weren't with that smoke. They didn't see the creep running away from Ghost. Yeah, like you said, it could have been a big reveal coming from Ava. Now there's a BKB blink on Alchemist, and they're jumping in. Ava.
Nice hex onto Ava. Can they get the burst before the Doom comes on? They've got the control and the output. They take care of that Doom off the back of a unfortunate series of movement on that smoke. XG comes out on top. Piggy Killer still kind of playing from behind, buying space out for Fly. They're getting that farm. BKB not too far off now on our Sven. But, I mean, the Alk just grows bigger and bigger. He's at 15k, a full 6k gold ahead. We talk about the minimum for the Alk to feel effective at 4k. Well beyond that now for Ghost.
Yeah, he's getting closer to the AC, which kind of mitigates the war cry, right? Like, makes the Sven hit your allies a little bit less too. So overall, just a perfect response. But look at Sven. He actually disassembles Halberd and goes for the BKB instantly, which will allow them to perhaps take a fight. But if they want to, they need to go straight towards the pit. And I don't think they're going to make it on time. The way they're positioned, this is free rush for Xtreme Gaming. Even with the BKB just purchased for Sven.
Can't reach there in time at all. Nice Roche take here from the side of Xtreme. Secondary life to play with.
John,
With a 7k lead on hand, yes?
how many games did you play, like, in the new patch?
I want to say 20 to 30,
Mercy?
probably, in what time? Well, Mercy. Let's get pinned down, finger down.
Do you play
again.
support?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Frisk, bottom lane?
Yeah, they get the stun out onto or Cottle.
We were trying to
Does have
talk
a
here.
huge
Stop
phone.
dying. God damn. Like, what the hell is happening? Sven will, I believe, run away unless someone zips in like a maniac. Okay, he will run away. So, out of those 20, 30 games that you're playing as support, how many times did you de-ward?
Well, it's a little bit more awkward, right, with the map. Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot of funky ward positions. Like, these wards coming out from Piggy Killer are pretty funky. These cliff wards, I think, these are key. Like, these side jungle cliff wards feel like probably the easiest to spot and the most impactful. So, the fact that you're getting away with this from XG is pretty big.
Yeah, I'm just asking because I just can't find any wards, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're used, if they're not used. I don't know if anyone sees me. These watchers are everywhere too. I feel seen for the first time in my life. I feel seen every time I'm playing.
You deserve to be seen, King.
Thank you, John.
You know, maybe not in your game. You know, that's exactly what you don't want. As they do get a push going here on Xtreme, they are seen and they will be heard as they take that tower down. Xtreme in a very fine position this game to force out that game 3 smoke out from Piggy Killer. They've got to connect these smokes. They've got so many items up they've not been able to use. Smoke pop in the high ground, blink forward, but the instant hex from Conka and the force staff out, the stun follow through. The RP
that's an RP.
on the back from JT, massive. But the damage coming through from our Sven. Firefly is melting them. Ghost, he's not healthy. He doesn't have his chemical rage up. They actually clean up. We'll find more. They get the punishment.
But why is it always like this? I see an RP used and then there is no follow-up whatsoever. The stun from Sven felt more impactful than the RP that hit, what, 3 heroes?
Yeah. It just doesn't line up. Ghost not having chemical rage, can't just stand there with Empower, try to hammer away. So it's just an awkward time for XG to catch that smoke, and the timing finally lines up for the side of Piggy Killer. And the funny thing is, they don't even need Doom there.
Yeah.
Like, Ava is just bait. Pops a lot of the spells in control.
I was literally just thinking the same. Absolutely no Doom needed. They just went in. By the way, he has an interesting creep that he is rocking. The toughness aura from the Wildkin Ripper. You don't really see that very often, but he's got some bonus
like
armor.
that.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn good against this minus armor, as they do find Fly. They do compensate, get some punishment out onto that Sven. And that should equalize just a bit. These ghosts just kind of going up with a chemical rage up. I mean, he is just so durable. We saw how many hits from the cleave he was tanking through, even without that chemical rage. He is fairly tanky right now.
Yeah,
on this hero.
There's a significant difference between the two cores as well when it comes to the ultis. They're both these transformation heroes that need ultis to fight, right? But Alchemist only on a 60-second cooldown, so he can fight more often and find these pickoffs much easier. Smoke up top.
And they get the flank here. They don't make a move on Piggy Killer and they get punished for it.
Oh, Doom.
Instant Doom out. Chemical Rage is already flying. The RP now, with the damage coming through and the zip forward from Paparazzi, they make up for that last fight in Xtreme.
And then some. Like, they killed the Sven bottom, now they get 3 heroes on top, all 3 cores dead within 2 minutes after taking a very successful fight. I guess that's maybe a problem for Piggy Killer. If they use God's Strength, they're just, everything is on cooldown, right? Because you don't really have the strength to kill off anyone if that is used. Like, you just don't have the manpower. So you literally have to play around Sven like you're playing around the Chrono or Black Hole.
Yeah. Or maybe, yeah, the same thing with, like, say, a Terrorblade. And then works this up. Well, a little bit more around a pretty big cooldown that impacts how often you can take these fights. I think one thing as well for Piggy Killer, like, we have seen these smoke attempts come out from them, but it hasn't been too successful outside of that one time they get popped in the low ground. Beyond that, like, this timing on the blink, the diffusal on XM earlier on, didn't feel like they could capitalize on these moments in as much as Xtreme could capitalize on their own timings. So they're just able to get a lot more. Tier 2, a Tier 3 taken out. A lot of room for Xtreme now to just get control on the map, get this build-up they'd want. BKB being worked on by JT. Full Abyssal slowly but surely being assembled up for Ghost. Like, a lot of good answers here. And for Piggy Killer, again, we still see the damage go through when Fly can get a good position with God Strength, but they have to kind of work together. Like, again, like what we saw in that low ground smoke.
Yeah, the most important thing is you need control versus the Alchemist. You need to kind of control him before he starts controlling you. And like, what's one weakness that Sven always had? He's had a weakness when he plays versus high attack speed cores that carry a basher or have any sort of a bash, right? Built-in disable. So Slark was always an issue for Sven. He just jumps you, takes your stats, bashes you. It's a problem. Same goes for an Alchemist now that has a basher. Like, he gets on top of you, you're probably going to get stun locked. So they need to find a way to control the Alchemist. If you can jump him as Sven, that would be great, but you don't have a blink.
Not quite there. Smoke out from Piggy Killer. Good position to break on the side of Xtreme as Mercy won't show.
Mercy?
Won't reveal much. No. And it's stun-fingered and not quite taken away yet. Will eventually fall. Glimmer Cape, not quite enough. Paparazzi will find that. And the smoke doesn't line up for Piggy Killer once more. Great reads from Xtreme.
That Crystal Maiden, man, that was wrong neighborhood right there. It felt, I felt like she's gonna die much, much faster, but Force Staff, Vambrace, Mac from the Kotl, Glimmer Capes, it did safer for a little while. And also, you kind of saw how XG was playing. They're, like, in comparison to game one, they are super disciplined. Like, they're being very careful and meticulous with their plays. Like, even a Crystal Maiden that just runs uphill, surrounded by 5 of your heroes, they're not jumping the gun. They're like poking. Impetus here, Impale there, not really committing.
I'm liking the shakeup. Just showing a lot more respect towards Piggy Killer, just ensuring that these turnaround potentials don't come out and just maintain that lead. It does lead to a slower game. You know, it's not as chaotic as last time, but could be some chaos next if they find an angle in. Paparazzi.
They're jumping him.
Fund up.
Oh, nice force.
Oh, the RP. Onto 2. As the zip waves there on Paparazzi. The damage isn't quite there with just JT alone. But it pots off this movement as they get the catch onto XM. We'll find that kill.
And more, maybe. Sven, he needs to run. He's glimmered.
On the run. They are speedy enough to escape.
He's very speedy. What the hell was that?
Just
the war cry. Yeah, the war cry, the 4 staffs, the, I guess, Mask of Madness. Does it still give you? It does give you a movement speed. I'm like, okay, let me check this patch one more time. He was he was super fast.
Yeah, just speedy. And now, are they going to contest around for the runes? They will. Risk still finds it.
By the way,
very sneaky.
Am I crazy? Like, when you go over a hero, was the magic resistance always there, or is it something with the new patch?
It's magic res?
Yeah,
I feel like that's
new, right? Is it?
I think so, but I honestly don't know. I remember seeing a lot of numbers, and my brain can't process them too well. They get the Doom off onto JT. This is something they can process, and they find a follow-through. They get the stun to remove a lot of that damage from the CM. But JT is still set to fall. So finally some good news coming out from Piggy Killer. Getting use out of that Doom. It just feels like we haven't seen that Doom fly out. And finally had some good impact.
Yep. They killed the Magnus, but that Magnus also didn't have RP. Was he really looking to fight? Not necessarily. So you use the Dome to kill the Mag. Once he's up, they will be looking to fight with an RP and everything ready. Can you utilize this kill for anything? That's the only question. Like, they are running up. Rosh is up. If they could force that somehow, it would be massive for them. If you could get that on Pango, let's say. Like on Sven, it's also decent, but if Pango could have 2 lives. However, you can see that Xtreme Gaming, they don't really want to let Rosh go, so they're actually going to fight.
The Cross got a good catch out onto Doom with a finger up as well. And just no counterplay. Again, Doom down. They know they've got the opening. Fly though jumps in. No mana left on Ghost. 4 staffs to save, but the pullback's there with a harpoon. And they've got the output. They've got enough.
That's
a huge streak from Ghost as they're looking for Kaka now. He's no man to glimpse him. Paparazzi cleans up in the back on Mercy. Still wanting this line kill. With the zips forward. Controls there. Paparazzi looking to pick them off as they're chasing. Frisk to be taken out. Not that much time left on this God's Trend.
Yeah, there's just no control. That's the biggest issue for Piggy Killer. Like, you could see even when they were taking down Alchemist, like, once his BKB was out, that's only when they could kill him. And that's because of what? Like, blinding light into Sven hitting him with the harpoon? That's it. Like, their control, once the Pango is kind of done, is minimal. You need a Rolling Thunder in these fights. But yeah, also very nicely done by XG. Lion just separating them on one side, Storm still zipping in, following up. Even though they lost Alchemist very early on, they were still very able to take the fight. I think a blink on Sven is necessary. I don't know. Like, I like the harpoon, it's great, but a blink would just enable him to instantly have impact in these fights.
For sure. Like, that is the one thing that is lacking. Just having this jump capability from Fly. And off the back of that, I mean, they could go for the Roach here. Xtreme is clumped up down bot.
Can you see when the gate is being used? Like,
I believe it does show the animation. Okay. Actually, because I think you have to see it in vision.
Okay. Because JT is just playing with it, spamming it for like 30 seconds. But that's also JT.
Yeah. Just kind of
just
playing around a little bit. Yeah. Just. Well, they're camping. It looks like they're baiting out the Roche. Actually, they might be baiting Piggy Killer to go into the gate, into the Roche. But no, they'll just eventually go for it. Smoke out still from Piggy Killer, though. They find this angle into that gate. Could try. But Roshan is melting a little bit too fast here as Xtreme. Be able to find themselves an Aegis and a cheese. Establishing a solid position, 10-22. 19k lead. Still standing for Xtreme.
Oh, they're going.
They will teleport through the gate. If they get the flank, they had vision there.
Storm is going.
Long zip from Paparazzi. Catches out Mercy, but gets bashed up, so can't follow through.
Mercy. Yeah, TP's out. JT was close. He was sniffing him out, but didn't get him in the end. Like, you can see that perhaps XG is a little bit cleaner when it comes to the main objectives of the game, like 2 Roshans now gone for free. And yeah, it is easier for them to get them, but still, Piggy Killer, I feel like out of these 2 games, I haven't seen them contest Rosh very easily, unless they're in full control of the game.
They're just not able to. They don't have the map control that they'd want to. It doesn't feel like they've got the vision game lined up here either. Watch that objective. Tier 2 take coming out now from the side of Xtreme. Shouldn't be too long for Ghost to kind of clear out that last outer tower. So the high ground threat open for Xtreme now to go in there. Swift Blink also up now on Ghost. Hits like a truck. That base attack time drop. It's just going to machine gun through. If he does get the opportunity. The Piggy Killer. They've been kind of stuck in a rut for a while. They've got that full Daedalus up on Fly. I'm surprised he's still opting for the AC over something like the Blink.
Yeah, like he finished off the Daedalus first and now going for AC. I guess bonus armor versus the Alchemist does benefit him. He hits for, like, he has a plenty full of attacks, but they aren't really that heavy, right? So getting that AC definitely pays dividends, but I don't know. Like, overall, I'd still rather see him with a blink, like you just said. Just being able to jump anyone. Imagine being able to jump the backlines. I guess his main objective in this game is to kill off the Alk and just kill him off as soon as possible. The moment that BKB is gone, he's the one jumping Ghost. It just wasn't enough so far, right?
Yeah, it's just been tough. Like, to look for those moments. When they do find it, it just feels like, you know, they're jumping Ghost without considering where Paparazzi is. Zips across the map, does some crazy plays. You got a Basher up now on JT as well. Into the Abyssal, already having the Vanguard up.
He's just getting one item per minute, right? It's no longer gold per minute. It's item per minute for Ghost.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. This is a perfect Alk game. This is why you see Alk is such a scary pick. 5 round they go Fortify already forced out. Smoke out from Piggy Killer. See if they find the flank. They have to take care of 2 lives on Ghost. Dr. Lincoln's always protected as well.
Look at Tench though. Like DUI, he has his Dandelion Amulet. He's very tanky. So he just breaks the smoke.
Oh. Get the instant Hex out onto Ava as well. So they try to roll around. A good stun onto 2. We've got the chain stuns as well. The pushback is there, but there's no follow-up. Flyfly can't get up there. Can't follow through with the damage. Even does come out onto JT, preventing the RP. And the output from Flyfly is there, but he gets abyssal up. Ghost still dropping low. Second life is going to be awkward, but a good stun out, a good finger as well to pin down Ava. We've got the output. Ghost still alive. Still doing well. And should be fine. They get the second life, they get the first life, but they find Flyfly. They're going to be able to clean up. XM stuck on the cliff. Everything falls apart for Piggy Killer.
They lose the Swan as well. GG.
They call it.
Okay, look, you definitely call it here. After XM doing what he did in this fight, you still lose it. There is no way to come back. Like, this man overplayed.